You know that feeling when you check your bank account and your stomach just drops? That quiet panic that creeps in when you realize the numbers don't add up, and no matter how hard you work, you somehow end up in the exact same place every single month? Yeah, that feeling is real. And if you've ever experienced it, this video was made specifically for you. Not for someone else, for you. Because here's what nobody tells you about financial stress. It doesn't just live in your bank account, it lives in your body. It lives in the way you lie awake at 3 a.m. running numbers in your head. It lives in the way you feel a little twitch of anxiety every time your card gets swiped at the grocery store. It lives in the tiny invisible weight you carry everywhere you go, that low hum of worry that follows you from Monday morning all the way through Sunday night, never fully letting you rest, never fully letting you breathe. And the worst part? Most people suffering through this have no idea it doesn't have to be this way. Here is something that took financial experts decades of research to prove. Financial stability is not about how much money you make. It is about what you do with what you already have. And right now, there are people earning a fraction of what you earn who are sleeping soundly, completely at peace, completely free. That gap between them and you is not luck. It is not talent. It is a system. And today, you are going to understand exactly what that system looks like. But before we get too deep, if you are serious about taking this further and actually want a proven structure that walks you through this step by step, we have related programs linked down below in the video description. People who have already accessed these resources have completely transformed the way they relate to money. But only if you are someone who is genuinely ready to do the work. If you are just here to watch and walk away, those programs are probably not for you. But if something in this video is hitting home, go check them out now before this moment of clarity passes. Now, let's talk about where most people go wrong. The average person operates on what experts call a reactive financial model. That means you earn money, life happens, money disappears, repeat. There is no intention, there is no architecture, there is just the chaos of existence in a bank account that reflects it. Studies show that nearly 70% of people living paycheck to paycheck are not living there because they are poor. They are living there because they were never taught the rules of the game. Think about that for a second. 70%. That is not a personal failure. That is a systemic gap in education. And that gap has been costing people years of their lives. Here is what financial instability actually costs you beyond the numbers. It costs you relationships. Because money stress is one of the leading causes of conflict between partners. It costs you health. Because chronic financial anxiety spikes cortisol levels. And sustained cortisol damage is linked to everything from heart disease to depression. It costs you time. Because when your mind is consumed by money problems, your focus fractures. You cannot think clearly. You cannot create freely. You cannot show up fully for the people who need you most. And perhaps most painfully, it costs you your sense of self-worth. Because somewhere deep down, despite knowing rationally that your value is not tied to your net worth, the constant struggle starts to feel like a reflection of you. Like maybe you are just not the kind of person who gets to be financially free. Stop right there, because that is the lie, and it has been running your life long enough. Here is the first foundational step that every financially stable person builds their life around. Clarity, not motivation, not hustle. Clarity. You need to know, with absolute precision, exactly where every dollar goes the moment it enters your life. Not approximately. Exactly. Financially stable people do not guess about their money. They track it, they account for it, they see it, because what you measure you can manage. Most people avoid this step because looking at the numbers feels scary. But here's the truth. The fear of looking is always worse than what you actually find. And the moment you get clear, something shifts. Your brain moves from anxiety to problem-solving mode. That alone changes everything. Step 2 is what experts call intentional allocation. This means that before you spend a single dollar, that dollar already has a job, not a vague plan, a specific assignment. Financial architects call this a zero-based budget, where every dollar is allocated before the month begins, leaving nothing unaccounted for. People who implement this system report, on average, finding hundreds of dollars every single month that they were previously bleeding out without even noticing. Hundreds, every month. That is thousands every year. That is a vacation. That is an emergency fund. That is a down payment. That is freedom, hiding in plain sight. Step 3 is where things get genuinely powerful. Building what is called a financial buffer. This is your emergency fund. And the research on this one single factor is staggering. People who have even $1,000 saved in an emergency fund report dramatically lower financial anxiety than those who do not, regardless of their income level. $1,000 does not sound like much. But psychologically, that buffer changes your entire relationship with money. It transforms you from someone reacting to life to someone absorbing it. And building that buffer is simpler than you think. If you redirect just $20 a day, that is $600 a month. In fewer than 2 months, you have crossed that threshold. In a year, you have nearly $7,500 sitting between you and disaster. 2 years of consistency, and you have $15,000. That is not just a buffer, that is power. That is options. That is the feeling of waking up on a Monday morning and knowing that even if something goes wrong today, you are going to be okay. Imagine that feeling. Really sit with it for a moment. Now, step 4. Elimination of high-cost debt. This is the silent wealth killer that most people ignore because it feels too overwhelming to confront. But here is the framework that has helped thousands of people escape it. You focus all your extra energy on your highest interest debt first, while making minimum payments on everything else. Every dollar you throw at that debt is guaranteed a return equal to the interest rate you are paying. 18% interest credit card? Paying that off is an 18% guaranteed return. You will not find that anywhere in the stock market. Once that debt is gone, you take everything you were paying toward it and roll it into the next one. Financial experts call this the avalanche method, and when people apply it consistently, the results are not slow. They are explosive. Debt that felt like a life sentence dissolves in months, not decades. Step 5 is where stability becomes generational. It is where you start building. Once your buffer is in place and your high-cost debt is managed, you redirect that same energy into assets. Even modest, consistent investing, $30 a week over 20 years at an average 7% return, grows to nearly $160,000. Starting now and saving more than starting now and saving a little. Time is the single most powerful variable in wealth building, and every day you wait, the cost of waiting compounds. This is not theory, this is math. And the math does not care how you feel about it, it just works. Here is what I want you to take away from everything we just covered. Financial stability is not a dream reserved for a specific type of person. It is a result. It is the direct output of specific actions, repeated consistently. And those actions are learnable, they are teachable, they are available to you right now. The pain you've been carrying, the sleepless nights, the stomach drops, the quiet shame of never feeling like you have enough, that is not your destiny. That is just where you have been. And where you go next is entirely up to the decision you make in the next 5 minutes. If this resonated, if something in this video lit a fire in you or confirmed what you have already known deep down but were afraid to act on, the resources we have linked in the description below are worth your attention. Most people will close this video and go back to the same patterns. The rare few will take one step further. That step is the difference between talking about change and actually living it. The programs are down below. This is your moment.